Teamwork itself has always been a central component of Battlefield, and yet that is changing now. Gradually, yet absolutely, so perhaps it'd be in our best interest to make the most of it while its necessity still exists. And should we, then who knows, perhaps the course of things will change, its many applications preserved, and on the morrow, brothers in arms should do combat side by side one another, as has been the delight of our Battlefield community since the beginning and even to this day, such that it were its foundations and value not crumbling so wickedly. Because teamwork is what makes Battlefield so perfect. Teamwork brings the game itself closer to what it is that makes reality itself worth enduring. Teamwork is when Daenerys sucks the cock while Cersei strokes the balls. Teamwork is Billary. Through teamwork, each individual is made exponentially more powerful. For knowing our comrades to be true to our cause and unto us, we can find confidence in the prospect that our friends are working amongst us towards the same objective. And filled with the knowledge of their presence, as we surely are if our comrades truly are true unto us, then in all truth we can literally feel through one another, and upon communicating to each other, we are become unit, greater of objectives, conqueror of obstacles. Because no one is perfect, but in unison we transcend. For a finger by itself is not but fodder without its four comrades, and the potential of the hand is increased to the infinite exponential when partnered with one other. And once we had four arms, but the gods themselves feared our stunning power, and thus crippled us before we might usurp them. A stick broken by two hands it may be, but clenched in fist with 50 of its likeness, it is little less than invulnerable to the hand as the rock truly is to paper. Brazil had a star soccer player whose name I can't remember, but Germany had a team. Anyone who has played shooters in the last few years knows as a simple matter of fact that teams win games. A skilled player by himself truly fears the full party on the opposite team, even if they should outmatch each individual in that party mono e mono. And if he should not fear this full party, then surely he is not a skilled player, nay, not but a narcissist caught in the denial of the dark side. Learning to work in a unit, to conduct oneself as a fraction of a larger sum, to exist in cohesion and unison with the collaborators serving as your fellow Terminators, they who would serve each as a catalyst to your own potential, as a mass amplification of your power, this is not only the moral, intuitive, and just goal of a Battlefield player, but the most practical and ironically self-serving goal as well. Because united, we conquer, but divided, we are conquered. Teams win games, full parties win games, communication wins games, and this is the truth. And let him that denies it perish for eternity in the hot flames of 1,000 suns. Spread this truth we must, and ought to, for if the world or even just the Battlefield community can be shown the light that is crew and unit and squad and band, then embrace it they shall. And maybe in this effort we the people of our game can save our game from the spiral towards casual, towards the single operating independently. Receding from our beloved franchise is the benefit of camaraderie, because when only a few employ such a thing to the great detriment of the masses, then assuredly as the man drowns 50 leagues beneath the sea, so shall Battlefield be downgraded. Step 1 is a deeper understanding of your counterparts, your co-workers, your colleagues, your fellow warrior priests on the battlefield. This understanding can only come from shared experience, and thus it is better to team up with friends rather than strangers. Be knowledgeable of who is brash and impatient so as not to be surprised when they valiantly charge out of the combat zone just to slay the enemy in their spawn. And without surprise, one can take advantage of this moment of distraction to set up thine own forward defensive position, so that after the enemy has slain the madman, they will charge headfirst into what is your spear laid there in the name of the madman and the time bought by him. And further, with this knowledge you will know to closely examine said player's surroundings before selecting him as a spawn, for he is most assuredly in danger, because danger is his middle name, for he is me and I am Batman. Understand who is cautious, so as not to mistakenly rely on them for a revive in the heated calamity of a firefight, yet still feel confident and free to hit targets at will, knowing that the consequences of your failed gamble are mitigated, for should you perish, there is a safety net of sorts, the cautious player camping the objective you all seek to protect. Step 2 is communication, the glue which bonds all peoples and thus makes us one. The weapon that makes teamwork so deadly as it allows one man to become many. Provide your squad with as much information as possible, and should they do the same, then together thou shalt in thine approach singularity. Knowledge that may upon its face seem of little value or import to thine team, may in truth be of great help to a squad mate in ways you do not have the time to comprehend as you traverse the battlefield. Should you see a helicopter, let it be known. Shout it in the streets, or your mic works too. There is a helicopter, I say, a helicopter in the skies, and though it is not to serve as an immediate threat, perhaps an ally in a tank some ways away takes notice, locates this attack helicopter, and begins to immediately take measures to shield itself from the oncoming fury, and thus survives to do combat another day. His life saved, he now calls out to you.
Abraham, in gratitude of your aid, let me now return thine favor. Enemies parachute from the very rooftops of those buildings above you. Beware and make haste, old Abe.
And Abraham, clothed in immense power, doth with keen eyes gaze towards mean skies, and alas! Winston doth speaketh truth. Enemy infantry descend upon me as if climbing down the air itself. Woe unto me, for where am I to run that these villains shan't not spy me from their so vertically perched eagle-eye view? Enter the Batman doth, and with a little bird in mighty speed, I, the Batman, strike thee, who descend from the heavens, and cast thee to the seven hells. As red paste I make with thy flesh, and furious rotiller blades my mount. Step 3 is cooperation. Abe and Winston doth mount the little bird in splendor, and in the pursuit of justice and his honest justicars, hunting villains guilty of most deplorable, reprehensible, indefensible, treasonous, and treacherous villainy, and dastardly deeds. Approach an enemy little bird of equal capability, do they? Hail ho, good Winston, thou shalt fire one singer upon thy whale towards thine mark. This most forsaken little bird shall of course deploy his countermeasures, in an effort most vain to survive a death that is so clearly inevitable. Upon this act I shall fire mine own heat-seeking rockets. Disable and heavily damage our target they shall, and thus provide thee, good Winston, old ally and remarkable comrade, with such opportunity as to deliver the killing blow. A final stinger placed directly in the mongrel's heart, and ye shall receive more points than I for it, though we both hath done some part in it, have we not? And Winston, being cooperative, as is only just and reasonable in the presence of such good company, murmurs in agreement. Aye, good Abe, and should we come across yet another most wicked enemy aircraft, reverse the order of our rockets, shall we, and thus, Abe, take the lion's share of the points you shall, for that is only just in a world where one is for all, and all is for one, right and just as it surely ought to be. Step 4 is trust. And now Abe marches on the battlefield alongside Stalin. And Stalin is adamant that he should run headfirst into incoming enemy fire, for he is a fool, but should he die, he doth count on Abe, good Abe, to provide the revive. I will revive you, saith good Abe, but know this, nothing between us hath changed. I will fuck Santa right up his fuckhole, with or without your permission. So Stalin doth charge onward, and as is expected, is slain brutally and most swiftly. There, dying in the field, as battle do take place all around, he doth not receive the revive he had so assuredly counted on. Ultimately, Abe chose not to revive Stalin, for he does not like the man because he's kind of a dick. Also, Abe is an engineer, doth proving Stalin a raging fool on two more separate yet equal counts. Because it's always more important to know who not to trust. Who not to trust with piloting the helicopter, for they cannot fly. Who cannot be trusted with capping the flag or repairing your vehicle. Or, of course, who not to entrust with your life via the revive. And lastly, step 5 is sacrifice. Merrily, Abe and the good Sir Waffles, from the confines of an Abrams tank most menacing, doth patrol perimeters against enemies most cunning. But now, with sudden alarm, good Abe, who doth steer this bolder steel, turns to good Waffles, the secondary gunner, with alarm on his lips. Sir Waffles, enemies doth approach from all directions. Ambushed are we, verily. I am wont to let the motherfuckers gain yet even an inch of ground. With haste will I implore thee, fire! Bombs and bullets away. Sir Abe! RPGs do penetrate our forward defensive line. Assume evasive maneuvers. Abe doth dodge one rocket, nay two, nay again thrice times doth Abe steer from these projectiles most horrendous. But one foul rocket with mighty impact striketh this tank, a mortal wound on its flank. Alas, our heroes do valiantly slay cloaked assassins in the night, and alas, the battle is won, but wait! Enemy armor doth march upon us, declareth Abe. The tank rests atop a heap of its own mechanical excrement, superheated sludge pouring from its vents and the gaping wound left hauntingly by the dastardly RPG. Most truly we cannot hope to win this fight, Sir Waffles, for we are gravely wounded and thus outmatched by this menacing tank that doth approach. It seems clear to me now, we will die. The position we have defended so steadfastly will be lost to us, and thus the enemy will march into our flag and capture it. Then, having a strong forward operating base, our enemies will with ease launch airstrikes and artillery fire upon our home base, the benevolent spawn from which we and our many comrades were birthed. This battle itself may be lost because we here have failed in this moment to complete our mighty task. Were we doomed from the beginning? O fate, thou art cruel. Where art thou, commander? Striketh now with your mighty cruise missile, and bomb us all in this position to oblivion. For what more can we hope to accomplish, wounded as we are? Sir Waffles doth rise from his position at the secondary gunner. Fight on, good Abe, he doth declare. Exit this tank I shall, and repair our vehicle with haste. Too much hath been sacrificed to give in now. But Sir Waffles, surely you are mad. This tank doth verily bring with it hordes of enemy infantry. They will approach us from all sides, and with joy slay you. And should I need to make a hasty retreat, have time for you to re-enter, I shall not. You cannot survive this folly. Sir Waffles, grim but steadfast, doth understand the magnitude of the situation, the sacrifice he must make. To be or not to be? That is the question, good Abe. For if our deaths are inevitable in this crisis at hand, and in our current state, then surely it maketh no difference if I should die one way or another. Alas, with repair tool in hand, I exit this tank and repair the damage done. Come, ye scallywags, come, ye villains of the night. I fear you not, for I am Waffles. Breakfast is served. And Waffles doth repair the tank, and Waffles is slain. Maple syrup seeps from his grievous wounds. Abe doth live yet to fight on, but without the comrade who sacrificed, as is the role of a pawn. Master these techniques, if you can comprehend them. Learn to embrace one another, learn to stand as one and put the objectives of the whole above the self. And true masters of this realm you shall be. Embrace camaraderie and friendship. Shun selfishness and self-indulgence. Live for your fellow man. Die for a cause most valiant. And become more powerful than ever before. Please remember to rate. This is Batman, signing out.